Hi, it's Chris here from Heatable Gaming, and today what I'd like to do is talk about Football Manager 2020. Not so much a game, we know it's coming out. As we can see, the Stadia has been announced, so I thought today we could talk about the teams that we'd like to manage. But by far the biggest question I get asked is how do I pick the teams I want to manage. I have some strange ones, especially with the Tasmania Berlin one. I'm like, how do you know about that? What made you want to do that? So today I've looked at the leagues around the world. I've picked out some challenges, whether you want to do them or not. But I'm going to talk about why I would find that team interesting. They're not, spoiler alert, it's not going to be all big teams. There's a couple of big teams in there and they've been picked for a reason. But most of them are tiny little teams or teams people haven't heard of, or they present different challenges. So without further ado, I'm going to go to the first team. I'm going to get the most obvious one out of the way first, Liverpool. And the reason I've chosen Liverpool is we just missed out in the Premier League title. So close, but we won the Champions League. And what makes this an interesting challenge is they haven't won the Premier League since the 89, or it wasn't even the Premier League back then, but the old First Division, since the 89-90 season. And the reason I think this is a big challenge is because Man City have been on a tear, they've been spending a lot of money, they're going to be stronger. And a few sensible signings from the players that we've already got, and I think you've probably got a basis of a good team. You've got Van Dijk, you've got Alisson's a good goalkeeper, Firmino, so you've got obviously got Salah, so you've got all the makings of a really good solid team, so a couple of decent signings, and you could possibly challenge Man City. Obviously this season was a complete fluke, just two teams that just were immovable, but not much I need to say about this one. It's an obvious one, but can you win the Premier League? Can you break the 30 years of hurt that Liverpool have went through in the Premier League? We've got a few Champions Leagues to make up for it, but the Premier League's the big one. My second pick is Ipswich Town, just staying in England. And the reason I've chosen Ipswich Town is because we finished 24th in the Championship. And next season we'll be in the League One. And they're no mean feat to get out of that league because there's some big teams. Sunderland are going to be still in that league and they're going to be desperate to get out and spending money. They've got money behind them. Ipswich don't. But the squad needs a complete rebuild. The finances are not going to be as great. I mean, this is a team that have won the top division in England in the 60s. We've won the UEFA Cup in the 80s. They're a big side with a decent fan base, and Norwich, their local rivals, are going to be playing in the Premier League, and just a case of rebuilding them. Can you take them back to the Premier League? Can you get them back to where we belong? That's the challenge, and it's going to be a harder challenge. But Liverpool one's going to be an easier challenge than this, but it's a long-term save. It's a good idea for a long-term save. I'm quite interested in this one myself. I might take this, maybe the beta version. I might take on Ipswich and see how we get on. My third pick is going to be an obvious one. Salford City. They got promotion to the League 2 this season. They've got money to burn. They've got some great players like Adam Rooney. He cost an absolute fortune from Aberdeen. It's undisclosed, but it was a huge amount of money they're paying him. Their wage bills massive. So we're owned by Peter Lim, who's a very, very rich man, and he has his sights set on the Premier League. We're obviously owned by Gary Neville, Phil Neville, Ryan Giggs, Nicky Butt, and Paul Scholes, I think. And they help him along on the football side of things. They own 50% of the club and Peter Lim owns the other 50%, but I imagine Peter Lim's putting most of the money in. The finances always say okay, but they're rich. I don't know if it's financial fair play. At the moment he's not putting so much money in, but I could see them being a top level championship team before too long. So that's probably the main aim. Can you get them into the Premier League and keep them there? Because that's the ultimate aim, isn't it, of the club. So it's a good long term save. I think it might be easier than some of the other ones. I think maybe in the next Football Manager and Football Manager 20, it's going to be rich rather than okay finances, but we'll see. So going in the other directions, Knox County, obviously the oldest club that were in the league, they're no longer in the league, so they're no longer the oldest club in the league, but they've got a rich history. They've got won the English FA Cup, won the Championship 3 times, so they are a very good pedigree. Obviously their city rivals Nottingham Forest aren't doing as great as what they have been there in the Championship as well, so I think the ultimate aim is just to rebuild, because they're going to be playing in the conference next season, and I worry about them. They're going to be in administration possibly, they're going to have next to no players, so it's a massive rebuild. To start off with, you're going to be really struggling to keep the club in the conference, or the National League as it's called now, and yeah, so this is a huge challenge. I think the challenge is actually just keeping this club afloat. And it's an interesting one. I imagine a few people will go there because, as I say, it is a big club. Nottingham's a big place and they have a rich history, so it's a shame to see these guys where they are. They should never have been in this situation. We'll not talk about ownership and all this, but yeah, I'd imagine most of the players are not going to be there. I'm just going to look at the facilities. Yeah, they've got a 20,000 near enough all-seater stadium, and they have everything they need. They don't have undersoil heating, but they've got a good setup. Potential for a championship side. If you could take them forward, but there's not much difference between the Championship and the bottom half of the Premier League, so you could possibly push on and take them to the Premier League. But ultimately, it's just surviving to start off with. And I think this is a really interesting challenge. They're going to be a huge club, if they're even there at all, because Knox County could go out of business. So, be interesting to see. Right, my next pick is Rangers. Normally I'd stay well away from the old firm, but in Football Manager 2020, Celtic are going to be good for 9 in a row. That is the record of the number of wins of the Premier League in Scotland that each club has managed. Celtic in the 60s got 9 in a row, and then Rangers in the 90s got 9 in a row, and neither have broke it again. So we've got to stop from getting 10 in a row, because then Celtic would have the record on their own. So it's going to be a big season, and Celtic will spend reasonably big to try and make that happen. Rangers' financial situation is not quite as good. Obviously we're spending the time in the lower reaches of Scottish football due to almost going into administration. I don't know, I'm not getting into that because that's a hot topic in Scottish football. It's never going to get resolved, but this is the time. If you're going to stop it, you may as well stop it before 9 in a row, because you don't want to go down to the chance of Celtic going for 10 in a row and not stopping them, because if that happens, Celtic could dominate for the next 10 years after that. So it's a good chance. Neil Lennon's come in, Stephen Gerrard's had a season, but obviously you're taking over. What you need to do is I'm trying to have a wee look. I think Alfredo Morelos, I don't know if he gets quite as many red cards in Football Manager as he does in real life, but you want to kind of build around him, and he's a top class striker, and try and get everybody round about him. Try to keep a hold of him. That's going to be a big one. And Alan McGregor, you've got a good goalkeeper, so you've got a good base to start off with. I think a couple of quality defenders and midfielders, and you've got a chance of stopping 9 in a row. But that's a good one. I think a lot of people will take this challenge up, try and stop 9 in a row. My next pick's also in Scotland. It's going to be Falkirk. And I know I did a little save of these guys a little while ago, but they're actually going to be playing in League One. They're going to be a huge club in League One. They've got a really decent sized stadium. If we just go to the facilities, they've got a 7,000, has potential to get expanded as well, so enough 8,000 seater stadium. They've got good training facilities. They did have one of the best youth systems in Scotland as well. I think that closed down, but you know, the infrastructure is possibly there to get it back together. We're going to have a reasonably decent budget because there's going to be new owners coming in, and yeah, you would have to bounce back straight away. I think the way to go by that is probably bringing in some decent loan players, and you're going to have a higher reputation than everybody else in the league, apart from maybe Raith Rovers. So it's a good chance to do something. So we talk a kind of decent mid-table Premier League team in waiting, so it's a good challenge. As I say, all the players, there's not going to be many players here that are going to be here. The rest are probably going to get released because they're going to be on huge wages, and I can't see the club paying that amount. But yeah, this is a good challenge if you want a nice easy start, because you're looking to win the league, with Raith Rovers really being your number one contenders. Clyde are going to probably spend good money, but you know, you're going to be overwhelming favourites, and then if you build a decent team, you're going to have a decent chance of staying in the Championship again. The next pick is Queen's Park in Ladbrokes League 2, and the reason I've chosen Queen's Park is not because they're the only amateur team in the top leagues of Scotland, because there's a vote happening in the next week or two where we're going to vote whether to abandon being amateur and going semi-pro or professional so they can keep their top players. And this has been brought on because they've sold Hampden. If we look at the facilities, they play their home games in Hampden, but no longer play their home games in Hampden. Now they're going to be playing in Lesser Hampden, which is right next to Hampden. It needs a lot of improvements to bring it up to scratch, but we're going to have a good bit of chunk of money by selling Hampden to the SFA. So you've got a chance, if you go professional, but I'm based in Glasgow. Lesser Hampden, I don't know how much Lesser Hampden holds, but it'll hold a good sort of 4,000, I reckon. Oh, there you go, due to moves, it's a 2,000 capacity Lesser Hampden. So the clubs are in a good financial position to push on, and you're in the middle of Glasgow, so you could attract some fans if you're doing well. You have a great history, got 10 Scottish Cups, so they love that trophy. But then saying that, we're all in the 1800s and the early 1900s, so they don't have a great pedigree in the last 100 years, but you know, could you win the Scottish Cup again with them? It's going to be a lot easier if they're no longer amateur. Even if they are amateur, that's what attracts most people to them, because amateur management is the most difficult thing in the world. Just the players being able to get plucked away and signing players, and especially if players are doing well and all the other teams round about you are professional. So yeah, they're a really good challenge this year, especially if they become professional for the first time in their 150 years being around, and moving to moving to Lesser Hampden and having a little bit of money in the bank. So that is an interesting prospect. Moving across the water to Northern Ireland, we're going for a Larne, and the reason we're going for a Larne is because we have a sugar daddy and he loves the club, and Larne won the Bluefin Sports Championship, so we're playing in the Premier League. Is it Dansk Bank Premier League, the Premiership next season, and they'll probably have the highest budget in this league. Obviously Linfield normally win it, if I'm right in saying it. We won it this year. Glentorn and that are all good. Cliftonville, they're all decent sides, but these new boys Larne from the ferry port that came along with all the money, they really want to build something special. So yeah, this is a good challenge, because I think you have a higher budget than everyone else, but you're not going to be able to do much in Europe, not to start off with, because you're going to be based in the lower leagues. So you're going to have to try and attract talent and make your own talent, try and snap up the best Northern Irish talent, bring some ageing stars back home, some guys from the lower leagues of England, and try and push on and create a side capable of doing something in Europe. So this is probably an interesting challenge. Can you get a Northern Irish side into the group stages of the Champions League? Are you going to get them into the group stages of the Europa League? So with Larne, I think this is truly possible, because there's money to be spent, and they're going to have the best budget, and they have ambition. So next year in Football Manager 2020, these guys are going to be a force to be reckoned with in Northern Ireland. But can you take that step up in reputation and actually start to build a nation? Right, next up is Germany surprise package, Union Berlin. I was going to go for Paderborn. They've had one season in the Bundesliga where they started off playing absolutely superbly and then got relegated and were never the same again, and they've managed to push on and get back into the Bundesliga for 2020, 1920 season. So I'm going to go for Union Berlin because this is our first ever crack at the Bundesliga, and we're going to be in the same league as Hertha Berlin, our local rivals, although they've never really been in the same league as them, because Union Berlin were always a lower league side. They were an East German side, but they didn't do particularly well in East Germany. So this is a huge step up. Football in Berlin hasn't been great, you know what I mean? We're underrepresented. For the capital city of Germany, they're completely underrepresented. You know, you're going to have a big test because they came up via the playoffs against Stuttgart, so they can beat a bigger side, but can they do it on a regular basis? This is the thing. Look at their history. As you can see, they've won nothing really apart from the Free Liga, probably the biggest thing that they've won. And there's that East German Cup in 68. So yeah, they're not a huge side. And as you can see from their club background, Free Liga, Bundesliga 2, and then they dropped down all the way down to the regional divisions, and they've built their way back up. So this is a huge challenge, you know. Just staying in the Bundesliga is going to be a huge challenge because their squad isn't going to be worth a lot of money, and they are the team that came up in the playoffs, so they finished third in their league anyway. So yeah, can you keep this club up? Can you overtake Hertha Berlin as the top team in Berlin? Or if you want to watch my Football Manager Tasmania Berlin save, can you overtake Tasmania Berlin? Yeah, that's a joke, but yeah, this is a big challenge because the first ever season in the Bundesliga, from being a sort of mediocre East German side, voting between the yo-yo side in East Germany, voting between the East German Premier League and the First Division. So yeah, can you push on and keep them in the Bundesliga? My next pick's going to be a little bit left field. It's Football Club Celtic 34. And the reason I've picked these guys is if we click onto the history, you'll notice League 1 Conformia, 2 of them. Not just 1, 2, and 2 French Cups. So we're on the French Cup page here, so we just have to scroll down and see if we can find them. I think it's going to be a long way down in the French Cup. Way down. Are we even there? I can't see them. Yeah, so 20, 28, 30 and 33, 34. And then the League 1 Conformia. We're just going to go down for that. So go to the history, records, and this is the main reason I want to pick from here. Past winners, we have to scroll all the way down here. They are the second ever winners of the French Premier League, and then they won it again in the 38-39 season as well. But yeah, Olympic Lenios won it, and Cannes came second. Cannes are not playable, and Olympic Lenios are no longer a club, so Celtic are the club that won it the first, that are still in existence. So can you, this is a challenge, is try and build this club up from the 4th division of French football and take them back to the Premier League, where they haven't been for a long time. Last time Football Club Celtic 34 were actually in the French Premier League was way back in 1954. So this is a challenge. Can you, nearly over 60 years they've been out of the top flight, can you get them back there? It's going to be harder because the Paris Saint-Germain are going to be there. It's going to be harder because Paris Saint-Germain are spending an absolute fortune. 4 divisions, it's time consuming. I don't think we've particularly got a lot of money. We were amateur for a long time. We're semi-professional now. We've got a really poor reputation, which always amazes me how these clubs get forgotten, to be honest. Like when I was at Tasmania Berlin save that I did, and you know, you Google them and stuff, and there's not much about them, and this is a big bit of French football history, this club. We were the first club to win the double, the French Cup and the French League One. So definitely a challenge, one that's worth taking. My next pick is another one. I like these stories, Pro Vercelli, and the reason I picked them is we absolutely dominated Italian football in the early days. If we just look at the history, you can see we won Italian Serie A 7 times, and just look at the history of Serie A. We're going to go down. Genoa won the first one, but if we go to 1907, you can just see there's a spell here where Pro Vercelli were absolutely dominant, just unbelievable, and they got relegated in the 34-35 season, and they never ever set foot back in Serie A. So the challenge for this one is to bring these guys back to where they belong. It's not going to be easy. We don't have a huge stadium, 5,500 seater stadium, synthetic use, soft type. They did get relegated last season from Serie B, so there is from this season, not 2020, so there's a chance of rebuilding this club into something great. It's difficult. Everybody goes for the obvious ones in Italy, but these guys, I'd like to see these guys back in Serie A. I love a story. I love the history of clubs. So one of the first things I look at is the history of clubs. Nothing against newer formed clubs, but I love history. I love the underdog story where clubs were once great and have been absolutely destroyed. In Pro Vercelli's case, it's been bankruptcy. What's the case? It's Seti in the last one, they were bankruptcy. And Queen's Park, obviously, that was just decisions to stay amateur when everyone else was turning professional. So, yeah, Pro Vercelli, can you get them back to Serie A after 70, 80 odd years actually? So, that's a big challenge. My next pick is a team that's not even in Football Manager 2019. It is Western United FC. We're going to be based in Melbourne. So we're going to be joining the A-League, the Houndit A-League, and Football Manager 20 will be their Football Manager bow. And we don't know much about them. We know that Australia were expanding the A-League. We've got another team coming in. Western United FC in Melbourne will join in the 2019-2020 season, and then the following year MacArthur FC, who I think is based in Sydney, will be joining the A-League. So they'll not be in 2020 unless it's already been pre-programmed to go in, but I don't think Western United FC were programmed to go in because I don't think they've been voted in by then. But MacArthur have been, so they might be in the Football Manager 2020 in a year's time, but I don't know how that works. So we don't know much about Western United FC. They're going to be a big side, or signed ex-Celtic and Motherwell strikers, Dundee United striker, Scott McDonald, Middlesbrough as well, I think he's played for. Great signing, a little bit past his prime now, but a good signing for the club. Brings some experience of European football. So yeah, so that is a good challenge, because can you build Western United FC into the top team in Australia? And I reckon you'll have carte blanche here. They'll still be trying to sign their players by the time Football Manager 2020 comes along. So yeah, it's going to be interesting. Anyway, I just thought I'd talk you through some of my decision making and why I would pick a team, because as I say, it's one of the top questions I get asked. How I pick my teams, how I decide what team I want to manage. And that's personal. It's what everybody else, what people want. Some people like being Man City and spending lots of money. Some people like building it up. I'm a club builder. I like taking a club with rich history that have fallen on hard times and trying to build them up. And that's a part of the fun. I very rarely go straight for the big teams, and it doesn't really appeal to me. The appeal to me is the grassroots stuff, the wheeling and dealing, the trying to strive to survive. Anyway, I've rambled on for far too long. I just thought I'd share you a few of that. Anyway, thank you very much for watching. I'll see you next time. Bye bye.